Hey YouTube, it's Jeff at Darkmoon Metals. It seems like it was only a few hours ago that I was sitting in front of this camera, and it literally was pretty much a few hours ago. I finally went in last night around 11 o'clock. I edited another video that hasn't been posted yet. It's actually uploading to YouTube right now. And it is about 5:45 in the morning and I am back in the shop. No, I am not trying to kill myself. I just have a lot of stuff I want to get done. And one of the projects that I had in mind for this week I'm going to be doing now and sharing with you. Today is January 25th and it is my mother's birthday. Now my mother has a couple of my copper roses already. In fact, she has the first one I ever made. And today I'm going to be making one of my steel roses and giving it to her hopefully before she goes to work. So stick around and I'll show you what I'm up to. So in the last 24 hours or so, I made a whole bunch of really large tent stakes. These are almost 18 inches long. These are used for the historical recreation folks. These are for their pavilions, canvas tents, things of that nature. Pretty popular. If you saw my casting pewter video, I've got a bunch of ingots ready to be made. Wow, I can't even talk yet. Ready to be made into these little medallions that Dana is going to engrave. And the video that is currently uploading to YouTube is how to make this style of S-hook. And that's what I finished up last night. I got about a dozen or so of those. For today, what I'm going to be making is a steel rose. Now you can find kits that sell the petals online. Ken's Custom Irons, a few other people offer kits like this. Mine's a little bit different. My pattern is different. This is based off of my copper rose design, and these I cut out on the plasma cam. I'm not going to show that, but these are about 4 inches. Started out as 4-inch squares, and you can get the idea of the pattern. This is, again, about 4 inches by about 1.5 inches. This is going to become the center flower, or center petal. A couple of leaves. A little frilly thing that goes under the bloom itself. And, of course, stem. So, let's get going. Alright, YouTube. For the next step, I'm going to basically deburr these, get all the slag off of them. There's not much. But I use the most aggressive belt I have in the shop, whatever that happens to be at the time. A lot of people will hand hammer this to texture it. I don't. I do that with my copper roses, but with this, the grit of the belt, as long as you rotate the flower and you keep the belt lines going in the direction that you would normally hand hammer, it puts a really nice, subtle pattern into the steel for you. So you can do your deburring and your veining all in one step. Alright folks, I got my cleanup done. I drilled the holes in all the pieces that needed holes. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my attention to the leaves. Alright guys, I'm going to use the weirdest hardy tool I have. Some people have stumps in their garage where they can dish things out or form things. I made this so I could put either a 2x4 or a 4x4 on it and secure it right to the anvil, because I don't have a lot of space in the shop, and this is just a wonderful space-saving thing for me. And there you go. The bungee cord really isn't needed for stability. All it does is it keeps it from like lifting up and smacking and making a lot of extra noise. So I'm going to be using a couple of different chisels. My favorite little ball peen hammer. The first leaf up here. Let's start out with this. Basic leaf. So once I get to this point, I'm going to take the block off. Put that aside. And I'm going to use an auto body hammer. And right here where the face meets the table. Let's do it this way. And what I'm trying to do is roll this. Just take your time. And you can play around with it as long as you want. Alright guys, I've got my leaves all textured and finished up. Next step, I'm going to move over to the stem. Now all this stem is a piece of mild steel that I threaded to receive a nut that I had laying around. You can use whatever size rod and whatever size nut you want. What I'm going to do is come in and I'm going to TIG weld behind the nut. And then I'm going to take it to the anvil and see if I can get a natural looking shape for the bottom of the flower. Alright guys, while this is still hot, I'm going to come over to the horn of the anvil. And that's what I'm left with after my cleanup. Just hit it with an abrasive wheel real quick. And now it's time to assemble the rose. Alright YouTube, so the first level is going to be that little star-shaped piece. Then the two bigger pieces. And this is going to be my center. There we go. There we go. You want your holes to be nice and tight. And the way you want to orient these is you want to stagger them. So you've got your star, that doesn't really matter what direction it's going in right now, but the two main series of petals you want to have 90 degrees from one another, and the bud, or what will form the bud in the center, you want oriented to be matching the first layer you put down. So you've got a nice little alternating pattern like that. The next thing I'm going to do is put on a lock washer and a nut. Now these are both going to be hidden inside the flower, so you're never going to see them. And it does a really great job of holding it all together. Alright guys, so the flower is assembled. Next thing to do is form it. I've got myself a couple of tools. I've got some rounded off needle nose pliers. These come in handy for shaping the petals. I'm going to be using a putty knife to get in between and lift the petals. And then I've got a couple of pairs of pliers that I made specifically for doing my roses, and I think you could see what they'll do. So let's fire up the torch. I'm still learning a little about this torch. It's kind of temperamental. I'm no longer using oxyacetylene in the shop. I am using oxypropylene. It's a lot more economical for me to run, and I'm really liking it. It might not get as hot as acetylene, but if you're doing torch cutting, oh, it's definitely the way to go. For every acetylene tank, I might go through 2 oxygens. For every propylene tank, as I'm doing torch cutting, I go through 5 oxygens. So it's really, really nice. It's a lot more economical. And I got a really good deal on the set at Hocon. This is a new Smith torch set. I used it in the video where I melted down the pewter, and I'm really liking it. It's a nice, real good quality set. Alright, the next step, I'm going to work on the first layer of 4 petals. To do that, I'm just going to take a putty knife, bend them up. Now the way you want to form these, you want to have the petals so they interlock. What I mean by that is you want like this petal behind this one, this petal behind this one, this petal behind this one, so it appears to be a nice closed flower. And to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little specialty pliers that I made, and I'm going to twist them a little bit towards one side. See if I can get you a better look at that. God, I hate this tripod. You see how it curls up? That's what I'm going to do for all the other 3 of these. So move on to the next petal. Get it warm. Alright guys, so the way this is going to come together, this is going to be in front of this piece is going to be in front of this piece is going to be in front of this piece is going to be in front of this. So as this comes together, they'll overlap in a circle, and it makes a nice, tight, presentable flower. Alright YouTube, so there's the end result that I was looking for. As you can see, this petal tucks in front of this one, this side tucks in front of this one, this tucks in front of this one, and you get a nice closed pattern. Now we really need to tighten this up, and I'm going to break out my my rosebud heating torch, and I'm going to heat this whole thing. I'm going to use my channel locks to draw all of this in towards the center. Okay, get it nice and toasty. Now, this may look a little weird, but the effect we get is good. Alright, Now, of course, you can fidget and play with this as much as you want, but there is the first layer done. Now I'm basically going to repeat that process for the second layer. I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, as you can see, we got the second row done, which is the final row of petals. And I need to really get a move on here because my mother's leaving for work in about an hour and I still have a little bit of work to do here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my my regular brazing tip again, and I'm going to just focus on the edges of the petals and I'm going to roll them back. And I'll show you that in just a second. Alright, this is where this pair of pliers comes in really handy. These have rounded noses on them. There's no sharp edges like a regular pair of needle nose pliers with the little grippies inside. So these are perfectly smooth, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these to come along and roll the edges of the petals back. I'm going to do one on film, I'll show it to you, and then I'm going to come back in, I'm going to do the rest off camera, and then I'll show you the end result, because like I said, I do apologize, but I am kind of pressed for time, and once you get the idea from one, I think you get it for you know, for how the rest of them are supposed to be. And all I'm doing is heating and rolling the petal back. Give you a look at that. So you can see the edge that I rolled back. I'm going to repeat that process for as many petals as I have, and then I'm going to turn the camera back on and you can see the end result. And that's what it looks like after you're done futzing around with it. And like I said, you could take as much time or as little time as you want. The quality is all up to you. Next step, I'm going to heat up each one of these little tines and I'm going to bend it and give it a little curl on the end. And then I'm going to shape the stem a little bit over the horn of the anvil. And after that, it's time for the leaves. That's a little hot. Oh, coffee would have been good. Now you see me pulsing the TIG on and off, and what I'm doing is I'm almost using the TIG like an airbrush to try to blend it together. It's not exactly what it was designed for, but what do they say, artistic license? So anyway, that is the steel rose, and I have just enough time to run in the house and give it to my mother. Hope you'd enjoyed the video.